I'm going to continue the story about the children in the castle. And this is called Bat Spit because of what you're going to find out in the session. I don't want to give it all away at once. See you inside. Hi, I'm Joy with Breaking Curses 101. And please like this video because I want you to like it at the beginning because you're going to love it. I just don't want you to forget at the end. All right. Subscribe to my channel if you are enjoying these deliverance stories, which are really like deep dives into people's DNA to see what their ancestors did to cause them to be cursed. And you're going to see there's a reason behind everything you're experiencing. Nothing just comes out of the sky. And Jesus heals every problem that you'll ever have. Okay. Sometimes healing can happen all at once. You'll find an instance in the Bible where Jesus prayed for a man who was blind and he saw men as trees, which means it was very blurry. And then Jesus touched him again and his sight was clear. So I guess if the man would settle for seeing men as trees, Jesus wouldn't have gone any further. But the fact that he knew what trees looked like, what does that say? Anyway, a lot of unanswered questions there. Anyway, back to the show. So we're going to continue this story. Remember the girl Helska, who was really the subject of the 3 different dreams that the woman had? Well, she had more dreams, and I decided I needed to do more deep diving. So I called up her soul fragments. Now, I knew we were talking to Helska, a soul fragment of an ancestor, like memories of an ancestor that had been passed down. But I tried to reach any of her soul fragments that were scattered. And this is what I came up with. This is what manifested. You never know what you're going to get. It's like Jack in the Box. You don't know what's inside, okay? So check it out. The first soul fragment she saw in a castle once again, and she was sad. She had sorrow and loneliness. Now, I'm not sure if that was still Helska, but I thought, oh yeah, we hadn't gotten rid of everything yet. So it might have been Helska still, not sure. Part number 2, she saw herself in a thatched roof house as a slave. Now, that could have been the same soul fragment of the girl who was sold. She was traded for 2 men, and they used her basically as a nanny in the house. So she was basically the slave. So then the third soul fragment that came up was a toddler, somewhere under the age of 3, right around between 2 and 3 years old. She saw where the parents put this little girl on a ship and sent her overseas to avoid getting sick from a plague. Okay. I'm going to be kind of backtracking on this one. Now, those are the 3 soul parts that I started out with. Now, I asked, who is hating on her because she was traded for 2 men? Because, I mean, if they thought women didn't have any value, why did they get 2 men out of her? What's up with that? Anyway, so remember I told you her mother didn't really like her. Her mother was jealous of her relationship with her dad. She would basically lie on the daughter and say that she would do things to try to get the father upset with her. She was jealous. The mother was jealous of the daughter. Is your mother jealous of you? Woo! Well, what's behind that? I said, who is hating on her? And this woman, Shanna, manifested. Like, my name is Shanna. Hey, it starts with S. Hey. All right. So Shanna manifested. And she said, she was wife number 3 of Gottfried. Remember Gottfried, the guy who lived in the Hornburg Castle, the guy who went around terrorizing everybody and taking their stuff and killing thousands and thousands of people in wars that he started. Okay. If you didn't have the firepower to come up against this guy like that, you weren't going to win no wars. Okay. You were going to lose all your stuff. You just needed to run. But anyway, this woman, Shanna, was married to him. Basically, she's married to the biggest gangster in Europe. Okay. One of the biggest gangsters. These guys are just gangsters. Okay. So she was wife number 3, and she was married. She said she came in around 1548. Now, that's the only reason why I figured she was connected to this Godfrey guy, because of the time frame, 1548. Although she was wife number 3, she said there were no wives after her. She made it a point to say that. I was like, uh-oh. She sounded like she ready to throw down. Like, yeah, there was nobody after me. So backtracking, this woman experienced a lot of verbal abuse from her mother. And it all traced back to Queen Shanna. She called herself a queen, but she was not a queen, because von Berlichingen, anyway, he was not a king. He was just a gangster, okay? So anyway, she said, there were no wives after me. And she hates girls because she thinks they aren't valuable. But let me tell you why there were no wives after her. Because she kills off her competition. She's killed 37 girls. That's why, I mean, she's just assigned, she has an assignment against girls because she wants men to feel like she's the most beautiful. Also, she doesn't want her husband to go get another wife. How about that? She brought in, so she thinks girls are not valuable. Like, girls, what do I need with a girl? I'm like, but girls, this is what I said in the session. But girls have babies. She said, yeah, but they have more girls. Really? So girls had no worth. I guess they needed the men so they could fight. Stupid. Now, somebody just sent me a video about why they call the best man, because really in Europe, the men were each other's besties. Okay. Like, they were the men were in relationship with other men. Okay. And that's why when a man married when they married a woman, the guy was called the best man. Which is interesting because I had a deliverance session with a woman, and she found out that her husband's best man was his lover. But I digress. Let's get back to the program. So the curses that the curses that Shanna brought in were self-loathing, not enough courage to pursue education. Shanna did witchcraft on the women to bump them off. And the woman saw a goblet. She saw a goblet held up. I said, what's in the goblet? What's in the goblet? Do you know what's in the goblet? A poisonous drink. She would give the women a poisonous drink with the goblet, And she would stage accidents. So it looked like it's an accident when she actually poisoned them. I said, well, what was the formula of the poison? Bat spit. Bat spit and a poisonous fern. There are poisonous ferns out there. I don't know why I came up with that, but I did look up bat spit. And guess what I found? In order for the vampire bat to get as much blood out of the recipient, or the, what do you call it? The host, there is a poison in his saliva that is an anticoagulant. It lets the blood flow. It's like blood pressure medicine. Okay. It thins the blood so that there's nothing keeping it from just continuing with the flow. That's why they can get so much blood out of their host. They carry diseases, and a person can die from a bat giving them a disease, rabies or whatever. But they're actually considering bat saliva as a remedy, or what do you call it? A prevention medicine for strokes. And the medicine is called Draculin. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Look it up. This is creepy. They want to use bat saliva as medicine. And this is what you get when you have health insurance, because you don't want to put down the chicken. Okay? You rather eat your way into some bat saliva. That's just nasty. You rather just eat your way, go to the hospital, get a drug that just, and the drugs they're giving you is bat spit. Oh! Okay. Back to the show. So, it brought in a spirit of pharmakeia. Of course, if your ancestors poisoned people, you're gonna have a spirit of pharmakeia. But check it out, check it out, check it out. Pharmakeia brought in drug and chemical dependency. Oh, it brought in a spirit called Haba. Haba. Check it out. Haba. This is the disease. Now, it said Haba was responsible for sending the child away. Remember, I told you one of the memories she had was a child being put on a ship and sent away because of a plague. It was a spirit of Haba, which is probably pharmakeia, that was responsible for the plague. So Haba is still operating in the woman's life today. This woman has had several surgeries. She's had multiple surgeries on her abdomen. As a child, she would have pains in the abdomen. She would go to the doctor and nobody knew where the pains were coming from. The pains would just go away. Eventually, stuff started breaking down in her abdomen. She's had her gallbladder removed, her appendix removed, and eventually a hysterectomy. When she was on the table getting ready to get the hysterectomy, all gowned, suited up, prepped and ready to go, they hand her the paperwork to sign, and she sees the date of her surgery. The date she had to sign the paperwork was June 6, 2006. 666. Her hysterectomy was a sacrifice to Satan. Okay? Now, some of you all are going to say, but sometimes it's a necessity. This video is not for you. Okay? You're looking for magic. You're looking for, okay? It is not God's will for you to have your organs taken out. All right? So, this Haba character, it said, if I keep them sick, they keep coming back to me for healing. Haba said, if I keep them sick, then they keep coming back to me for healing. It sounds like the health insurance in America. It keeps you sick. Okay. It's actually a territorial spirit in Spain. Now, check it out. The legal right that this spirit has is because it says they don't fully trust in God. There's a lot of unbelief and they don't feel worthy. They said they question themselves as to why they should be healed. What makes me worthy of being chosen to be healed? Why would God choose to heal me? These are the questions that will come up in her mind when she will want to pray about these issues. So there you have it. God does want you to be healed. Whenever Jesus healed, he healed everybody. Whenever anybody came to Jesus for healing, he never turned them down. Okay? So this Haba character was responsible for this child being sent away. And they, like these demons, they work together. So Haba was working together with Lilith to send the child away from the mother. Again, it was a little girl. And yeah, a lot of grief there. So I had to walk her through the healing and deliverance portion of this session. And assure her that it is God's will for her to be healed. And then release the soul fragments. Oh, the soul fragment that was in the thatch roof house. I pulled up the contract. The contract said, from this day forward, she's mine to keep to work for me. It was signed in the year like 1732 to 1733. So although I called up her soul fragments, it's like pieces of her were given away back then, so that when she's born today, in this day and age, pieces of her soul have already been divvied out. You got it? I'm just saying. And she got the name Yugoslavia. The Haba, the girl was sent away from Yugoslavia. But anyway, I've got Yugoslavia, I've got Spain. Even though these places are all over the place, it's still Europe. Hello. Goodbye. All right. And I'm going to stop right there. I want to tell you about my book, Removing the Barriers to Healing. Removing the Barriers to Healing is a book that I wrote in 2017. I finished publishing it in 2017. It talks about the different barriers that keep people from getting healed. One of the barriers is doubt and unbelief. So I give you scriptures so that you know that it is God's will for you to be healed. And then I walk you through other removing all the other barriers. And then there's prayers at the end of each chapter that will walk you through healing. And many have gotten healed. And many people learn how to pray for the sick using the book. So you can find my book at breakingcurses101.com, the digital version. And I also have the hardcover at lulu.com, lulu.com. You can also find the link on my site. All right. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you learned a lot. And stay away from the bat spit. Don't let them give you bat spit for stroke medications. Okay. Just lay off the chicken. Lay off the burgers. Lay off the beef. Okay. Beef stew. Just lay off of that. Just let it go. Let it go. Okay. All right. God bless you. See you in the next video. Start your deliverance journey today with the Breaking Curses 101 School of Deliverance. You can get delivered in the privacy of your own home. We've served over 6,000 people since 2016. So check out my link in the description below to take my free course to get started.